Welcome back to another video from the Malaysia facility, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys a bunch of surplus snakes that actually hatched last year but were not ready in time to make our export. So they will be coming over this summer in June. I'm going to be showing you guys the adults, and then we're going to head over to the baby room. I'm going to show you guys the babies. Now what seems to be happening is our breeding cycle here in Malaysia is a little bit later and close to our export date, and of course the months that we return to the US. So if animals are ready and they hatch earlier, maybe in the spring, then perhaps we can send them over and offer them to our customers. But if they're not ready, it's very simple for us just to leave them behind so they get fully established. And for those animals, by the time that they make it to the US, they're already like yearlings and they're super, super established. But here at DM Exotics, we have some amazing animals, and we're always looking for new stuff, new localities, new species, subspecies, whatever it may be. And in today's video, you're going to see something along those lines. And I don't know if we're going to be making a viral video or not, because I know on this platform, people love snake bites and open mouth gapes and all that good stuff, because it looks crazy to our audience. But we'll see what happens here. This is one of our males that we used for breeding. This is a beauty rat snake, which should be Yunnanensis, but these are not from Yunnan, and these are so far not in the hobby. And I've showed these in these videos before, but I think these are absolutely amazing. And for anybody that is working with beauty rat snakes and is hoping for something new to come along, this will, Offspring from these, the very first captive bred, will be released in the US in June. So we have a limited number of babies. We actually hatched 2 clutches, a small clutch and a bigger clutch, and we have males and females, so pairs should be available. They show themselves coming in different color tones. This one is a little bit on the lighter side. The females are smaller, as is the way in most beauty rat snakes. The males are bigger, and they're just one of my favorites. I really like beauty rat snakes for a whole lot of reasons. They're not difficult animals to breed. The babies are really simple. They take rodents readily, no problem. And sometimes they're a little spicy, but they're very alert, and they're a lot of fun to interact with most of the time. So this is the female that laid the larger clutch for us. She is very light in color, very pale, and she has really nice complete black circles down the side. And this is the other male that we used for breeding. So you see he's a little bit lighter, less of those tan and gold tones. But really, really pretty animals. I'm super excited about these, and I think the hobby is going to be also pretty excited. You will see in the babies there is a little bit of color variation. Some of them are a little brighter, some of them a little darker. And I'm sure things will change too as they grow, because a lot of times beauty rat snakes as babies look nothing like the adults. But for these, the babies closely resemble the adults, but I think that the colors will sort of come out as they grow and put on some size. Yesterday, when we were cleaning and working in here, this snake was a bit spicy, but today, not triggered by anything. And back to the hide it goes. So we also have Vietnamese Blue Beauty babies, and I'm going to show you 2 of our breeder animals before we head over to the baby room and I give you a look at the babies. These 2 females that laid clutches for us last year are captive bred from Europe, and They're not all created equal. There's a lot of different color tones in these animals. Some are blue, some are very silver, some are more gray and white, and there are some that are actually yellow and gold color. So the animals that we're using here, we're trying to keep the name, give the name justice for blue beauties. And I have a suspicion that a lot of beauty rat snakes that are in the hobby have been sort of accidentally crossbred or hybridized, because beauty rat snakes are mostly captive bred. There hasn't been a wild-caught stock in quite a long time. So you could imagine if you saw this snake in yellow, somebody may mistake that for being like a Taiwan beauty or a Chinese beauty, and then they're breeding two different localities, and then they're kind of muddying the bloodlines and muddying the look. And I've also noticed that some beauty rat snakes seem to be smaller than they used to be, and that is also sometimes indicative of inbreeding. So what we're doing here is we are bringing wild-caught blood, and we're going to be incorporating it into the captive bred stock, and hopefully kind of just freshening up the bloodlines and doing justice to the various localities and subspecies. But I'm going to show you some wild-caught animals too, and I have plans of incorporating those into these pairings this year, late in the spring. So this is also a Vietnamese blue beauty, and this is the father to both clutches. And you can see that while he is blue, he has a little bit of a different look to him. The other one is kind of more saturated with the blue color, while this one is more white and washed out, but does have the blue color. But a super amazing, beautiful snake. But like I said, this spring, I want to breed this captive bred Europe male to a wild-caught female, and I want to use a wild-caught male to the CB Europe female, if you guys follow that. So I'm going to cross both back to wild blood, and I think it's going to infuse some amazing genetics and should be some really high quality animals. So this is a wild-caught male Vietnamese blue beauty. Hasn't been here very long, so we're still in the process of fattening up the new arrivals, but these fatten up really well because they take food readily, no problem. But for comparison's sake, you can see, I mean, of course there's variation too among each individual of blue beauty, and I'm still going to show you another one. We have one more that's actually really impressive, but I think incorporating these into the captive bred stuff is going to make for some really amazing snakes and super strong genetics. So this is another one that we got. This is wild-caught Vietnamese blue beauty. This one is a female, and I'm definitely going to hold on to this one and breed back to our captive bred male. But it won't be this spring because this snake needs a little more growth. But it has nice blue, and so it's nice to be able to incorporate fresh blood into our breeding projects. So now we're here in the baby room. I'm going to show you guys some of the offspring from the adult animals that I just showed you. We will start with the non-beauties. I went through these and I sexed them just the other day, but I have a couple real nice ones marked for myself that I probably will hold back one pair. But this is a really nice female baby that's showing a lot of gold color. So there's a lot of variation between these clutches, and I'm seeing some darker ones, some lighter ones, some gold ones. This one just really stood out to me just for the color. It's just real bright. So that is one, and I will randomly grab a couple more out so you can see. Here's a nice one, also pretty brightly colored, but not quite to the degree of the other one. This one has some really nice completed circles on the body pattern, which I really like. I think that's pretty unique. This happens to be a male. and pretty good size. And these are the blue beauties. They have some good size on them already as well. And they really don't start showing their color for some time. So these animals will start to increase with blue color. And because I showed you guys the adults, that is a prime example of what you get in the offspring. I know a lot of people sell these, they buy them from random people. Nobody tends to share what the parental stock looks like. And so I always tell customers, ask what the parents look like. And a lot of times the people will come back to me and tell me that the seller doesn't have pictures of the parents, or you know, they bought them from somebody else and they didn't get pictures of the parents. And so that really has a big deal to do with how your animals are going to look as adults. So I'll grab a couple more out of here just for an example. This one's a little bit different looking, maybe a little less on the pattern, a little lighter overall. But like I said, the color doesn't really set in until they start putting on some size. Maybe I'll grab one more as an example. This is from a different clutch. The first two that I just showed you were clutch mates. This one is from clutch number 2, but it's going into shed, so it's not nice looking. Maybe I'll try a different one from that clutch. So this is from the other clutch. So that's it for the surplus animals. We have 2 clutches of blue beauties totaling 12, and we have 2 clutches of the non-beauties, the northern Thai beauties, I think totaling 14. So some are already spoken for, some are reserved, some are not, but we do have room to add people for pairs or trios or whatever until supplies run out, I guess you could say. So the babies are doing really good. By the time June comes around and our shipment goes out, those animals are going to be almost yearlings, super strong, feeding really, really well, and super confident in all those animals. And you got to see the parents, you got to see the adults. So like I said, that's very important when you're buying animals that don't hatch out and have already the appearance or the colors that they're going to have later on in life. Always ask to see the parental stock if you can get photos or video. It's very important when you're making your selections. They are not all created equal. And that is it for the video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you in the next one. Take care.